All right, let's see if this is working or what. Do I need some headphones for this? Sound check. Right, let's see. I need to cut off the sound here somewhere. Yeah, that's it. Because I'm hearing myself like 15 times. Holy shit, this is loud. Right. I'm not sure if anyone is going to be here. This wasn't announced. I was just about to go and grind some Cayo, and I said, like, why not throw it on the screen? I know I'm not going to do it with a level 1. I'm going to do it with my main. But I decided to show, this weekend, I was, again, doing ice with randoms, which is kind of funny because, like, I wanted to make a video about it. And people still mess around a little bit with Cayo, and it's not like a big deal. I'm not like shaming anyone for not being able to complete Cayo, but obviously these people kind of need help. So I said, like, okay, so let's just do it ourselves. Like, let's just show people how to do Cayo. Maybe they find this video and then they find the walkthrough and everything, and they'll come back and then go like, oh, okay, this is how you do it. So it doesn't really matter if you're like an experienced player or if you're just a novice or whatever. Hopefully you get something out of this. And if you're watching this in the future, you'd be like, oh, okay, Bish. Okay, Bish, show us how it's done. So I'm gonna do this. Actually, I even started the initial flight and stuff, but we'll see if I can get this going. Right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this video, VOD, live, whatever. What we're going to be doing here today is we're going to be running Cayo. We have like a few things that that make this like a little bit easier already. We'll see. We'll talk about them in a second. Which is like the helicopter and then whatnot. But we're gonna start with just going to Grapeseed, just to fly over to Cayo. And all right, so here's the thing about doing this. There's a 50 million different ways of doing Cayo, but I don't think they matter anymore because I put up a video which no one gave a shit about. But I put up a video where I'm talking about Cayo Perico, and I noticed that it doesn't really matter what you do, it doesn't really matter what you scope. The end goal is always going to be the same because as you pick up the loot, the game adjusts what you're supposed to be getting, if that makes any sense, right? So basically what's happening is if you pick up secondary loot, it's going to say like, yeah, whatever, we're going to give you this much money. And then if you go up to the safe, you will top up that money. And if you, after that, you get your primary, which is always going to be the same value. In between the secondary loot and the safe, it will always give you this more or less the same money, plus or minus 100K or 50K or whatever, which in my opinion, I don't think it makes like that much of a difference. Jesus Christ, like it's still very loud. I'm so used to play this without even music that it doesn't make much difference. So what we're going to be doing today is like, I'm going to be showing you guys like how to scope, like, I mean, the very bare minimum of scoping. And if you are like a completely new player and this is just, it's the first time you're running this, obviously you're going to need like to do like a complete, I didn't want to throw that one there just in case I get too close to the vellum. So hopefully it's going to be okay. So yeah, this is one of the first things that makes it so much easier to have like the helicopter, the Sparrow, because this is how you approach. Notice that I usually just take like a gun. I don't even need these grenades. I'm gonna just throw this shit away. I'm trying to get rid of this. I don't want anything on my weapons. I just want the gun, which has like about 9,000. It's over 9,000 clips, not clips, bullets. Anyways, back to this. So if you're running this for the very first time, it's going to be a little bit different. But there's some live playthroughs that you can go through that you can see how I did the scope. Boy, this was a weird, I should have picked up a little bit more speed. But if this is not your first time and you actually manage to go through the first time, this is how you can do it after. Now, even though you're going to be, it's going to be a little bit different the way you do the very first scope, because you actually need to follow like all the yellow dots and then go from this point to this other point and then from this one side to this other side, and you have to do those things. It's grand because you can still pick up a vehicle, Star Banana, and go more or less to the points that I'm gonna go. So hopefully that helps. If doesn't help, like you might just need to follow like one of the walkthroughs and then just see exactly how I did everything. But yeah, so this for the last couple of days I was just trying to make a video where I was going to pick up a level 1, which was going to be a bodyguard. Let me see if I can get like my own. Okay, this is two. I was going to be a bodyguard for CEOs and whatnot, and I was hoping that someone would invite me to their firm or wherever, and I would just do some bodyguard work. But that didn't quite happen, even though I tried and for hours, because I mean I was a level 1, so I was not expecting that to happen. But because of that, I just said like, okay, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go and do some heists with randoms. And Cayo Perico is one of the heists. Prison Break, so Cayo Perico, Prison Break, and you main labs, it's heists that pop up a whole lot when you go into your phone and you put yourself as like looking for work. Sometimes you get Pacific Standard, but I tried to do it about 3 times, and I did all the setups with the person, and then I was waiting for about 20 minutes, and I never really got the invite for the finale. So I was like, man, did I just spend like all this time doing the setups with all you guys, and then you guys didn't even invite me to the finale? Have I not proved that I was going to be a reliable player? But maybe not, maybe I didn't. But it's fine. It's fine. So, right. So we're going to do like the first scope or the second scope, and like I said, it doesn't really make much difference what you're doing now in terms of like secondary loot. So as long as you can fill your bag with something, it's going to be good enough. I've seen some people just using the hangar and then just going to the hangar for loot. And I was just like, why don't you just go around and then try to find better loot, just get a better payoff, since you're going to be spending 45 minutes doing this anyways. But I guess not. Anyways, oh, by the way, I'm switching in between mouse and keyboard and the controller. So the first thing you're going to be doing is come into this shed and then see if you have like any loot. So there's coke and weed down here. And we're going to have a quick look here. It would be nice if there was another stash of coke. There isn't. There is weed there, and it's fine. So we're going to take weed at the bottom, then coke, and then we're going to be taking weed at the top there. Running outside, 3 places that I want to check. So first one is here. You can see that there's some uniforms. So this makes the Vellum your entry point 100%, because you can switch into uniforms there. And we're just going to check here if there's any weed. There isn't. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to look into the back there. Sometimes there's like another pair of uniforms there. Sometimes the truck is down there. And we're going to jump here. So we're going to go, and amazingly enough, there is no bike here. There's usually a bike here. What the hell? How come there is no bike? This is freaking stupid. Okay, doesn't matter. So I 100% thought that there was going to be a bike there. So you run up to here and you see if there is this. So you have like a grappling hook thingy. So you're going to be using that. We're going to be using that grappling hook to enter the compound. If there isn't, oh, the bike just spawned. This is beautiful. Okay, I didn't know this was going to be possible. So if there wasn't a grappling hook there, we could still find it maybe down here. And if there wasn't uniforms on those two initial places there that I showed at the airstrip, you can come over here and just like snap a picture in that direction. And if there is a pair of uniforms there, you can use them. And if you do not find the grappling hook, you can look here in this corner, which there is another one. So 2 grappling hooks there and uniforms, and there's plenty of loot at the hangar. So regardless of the loot at the hangar, you would always going to be able to just like grab something there. And if you couldn't find uniforms on those 2 places, I don't think that it's worth to go around and then look for uniforms anywhere else. So after that, you would just go, well, couldn't find uniforms anywhere else. So you just, after you pick up the initial loot, you go to the back where there's like some boats. We're going to be showing this at the finale. There's going to be some boats, and you can just like take one of the boats, and then just like that's how you're going to reach the compound. But because there's uniforms, we're going to be using the uniforms instead. There's another reason why we be using it. It's always good to find uniforms. It's because if you go with uniforms, we're going to be using one of the entries and see if that entry, the guards will have cards. We're still gonna try that like at the finale. I'll show you there, because we're doing this in a linear way mode kinda, but I'm expecting you to watch this and play the heist yourselves at the same time, so you can just like kind of follow along, walk through or something, whatever you want to call it. So we're just going to be looking at all the possibilities here. So let's go up to the top, the communications tower signal box. Oh, by the way, if it's the first time you're doing this and you're having like issues, jeez, these controls. If you're having issues, look into those walkthroughs where I take the level 1 to do it, and it's good enough, decent, whatever, because you might want to scope like extra points in the island or something. Yeah, I'm just making words now. Right, let's hack this. The hacking is pretty simple. So we need to make 51. So 30, it doubles by 2, by 10, and by 3. So I think this is what we want. 21. No, by this, by 6, 15. Okay, I'm looking fucking stupid in the stream now. 39. And he doubles by 2? Yeah. I don't know how to do math. Right. So, right. Let's use the app on our phone. I'd say we're gonna get tequila. Right. Oh, get bonds. Bearer bonds. Now, if you think you're going to be doing this with body, just check the rest, because you want to look for gold. And it's always nice to try to find the 2 paintings in the office room, because it just makes your run so much quicker. If you're solo, like I said, plus or minus 50, it doesn't really matter. Now, if this is one of your first times doing this, excuse me there. If this is one of your first times doing this, you might want to cycle through all the cameras, and you're going to reach this camera here at the end. I'm showing you here outside, and it makes a difference because you want to look at that door there. It will point up at the keypad, which is going to be one of the ways to entry. And another one is going to be this wall here, just to unlock these bits. There's more when you cycle the rest of the cameras. But at least try to get those two just so you can unlock them. Entry points. Now, at the very top here, if you're high level, you think you still want to scope a little bit more other stuff, like we used to just parachute down there. I'll show you. You parachute, and we would parachute just to try to find like like just different loot or something. But if you're just a new player, you want to scope like, and then have like, take a picture of like that helicopter pad there, or just for example, parachute into this little shed here, which will have like another, a bit more loot, right? And parachute. So we're gonna get caught here, and then just take pictures there of the docks and everything. So if you didn't have access to the drainage pipe, during one of your setups, you might want to take one of the little zebras, what's it called, the dinghies, and then use the dinghy to go to the back of the compound to get to the drainage pipe. Here, no need. So we got everything we needed. We got like a bit of loot there. We're gonna take the Valium anyways, and we're going to start the setups. Now, some people prefer to do the setups with the oppressor. I just use the helicopter, Sparrow, whatever. I don't really like the oppressor. I know it's the grinding machine and everything, but I dislike it with a passion. So we're not going to be using that. What we're going to be doing here is just find a new session. Because you're at the airport, it just brings you here to the beach. It's going to be so much easier. And we're going to start the setups. If the setup is, if we get the Merryweather for the weapons, we're just going to reload the session because it makes it so much easier. And then that mission is kind of like a bummer. Like, I don't even know what's in the game. It's just like such a waste of time. So weapon loadouts, we're going to buy suppressors. We don't need to buy them straight away now. We get the Schlongberg Sachs Center. So like I said, some people prefer to beach the Casaca and then use the oppressor. If you just add enough money for the Casaca and you don't have enough money for the little Sparrow, then yeah, that makes sense. Just make sure that you leave enough space at the bottom of the Casaca so you can use like the bottom hatch to get access to. If you had money to get the Sparrow, I think it just makes it like a little bit easier. Buildings such as this one, the Schlongberg, is going to be like a little bit tricky to land, way trickier than it is for if you had like the oppressor, but it's not that super hard. It's not that bad. I wonder if there was a difference after NVIDIA drivers. So it's kind of weird. You're going to have to put it down here. Perfect. Now, I'm sure we talked about this millions of times, but I don't use all the weapons. There's like a grenade there. Just keep showing up. So you don't need to get everyone. Just need to get this dude, get that dude, get that dude, and this one. Get the weapons. Let's hope we don't take like millions of times to hack this. And the way I usually do it is I pick up the first couple of numbers at the top, 2786, and I check a little bit at the bottom here, just make sure that he didn't just pass up. And then I start scrolling from the top, but backwards, because like I'm moving backwards because the code is moving forwards. I'm not sure if that made any sense. But I just cycle from the last couple of lines to the code. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that. It's but I'm sure everyone will find like their own way to do it. It's like it's a Where's Wally. So you move back to the building, and then there's two ways to do it. You can go back into the building, wait for a little bit, and the helicopters are going to disappear. Or you can just go in, get the health and snacks menu, and if they shoot at you, you just like eat the snacks. But then you pick up the helicopter, and then once you're flying, you're good to go. So it's not too hard. A lot of people sometimes forget to just use the snacks when they're playing. And I'm saying this, I'm jinxing myself. Like I'm sure like at some stage, probably the same thing is going to happen. I'm going to be like, yeah, I forgot to use snacks. Because you tend to play so loosely when you're playing on your own, I suppose. But yeah, don't forget to use snacks, especially if you're playing with other players. It just makes it so much easier when you're not dying, and they will, I don't know, maybe invite you again. Yeah, so the Sparrow makes it, for me, a little bit easier to go back and forth into the submarine. There's this plenty of loading time, I know. But some people might prefer the oppressor. I don't know. It's choice. I'm not going to go into that discussion now. Right, so we got the weapons delivered, and we can leave the airplane for the last one. And we're going to start with the casino stuff. Yes, so weapons is done. We're going to go, we don't need the demolition charges, by the way. So we're going to start with a safe code. We're going to go into the casino. I always wonder if that was possible to just get to El Rubio, Chief of Security, undetected, but I don't think it is. Right. So I did a few of these challenges where I take a level 1 and I don't use any weapons, and it's so funny. If you're watching this and you ever get a little bit of time to go in and watch it, what happens is the guards outside are not programmed to have someone coming in with melee attacks. So they just glitch all over the place. They're just designed for someone to shoot. Because I'd say Rockstar was like, never thought that someone would go and then melee the guards, which is kind of like ridiculous. It was like, that's a completely viable option. But yeah, they haven't really programmed that yet, that into the game. Right? Can we park this? Do like a really cool parking. Something like this. Wait. That was me just trying to show off like a little bit of like pilot skills, but that didn't go the best. Like a glove. I mean, he's turned the right way to leave or something. I don't know. I was just trying to show off. It just didn't go like really, really well. Right. If you have a penthouse suite, it's cool because they let you use the elevator. You go to the top floor straight away. If you don't have a penthouse suite, you need to go to the car park, steal the cart, and then go up. If you buy a penthouse, there's like a bunch of missions that you can do that will unlock a super cool car, which is like my favorite car, Paragon R. So it's not on this side, so you just run to the other side. Why can't we run faster here? It's so stupid. Which unlock like a Paragon R, which is like definitely my favorite car. Right. Oops, I missed that shot. So hopefully it didn't alert the guys. So make sure you don't have a weapon equipped. If you have a weapon equipped, obviously it's like they're gonna alert the guards inside. You first check this room here. He's not there. Then we're gonna go in and check the next room. There he is. Right. Now, get the key. Oh, I'm so dead. I'm so dead. I thought I was going to be a little bit faster than this. Right. Now I've alerted everyone inside. Right. You dead. You dead. Jeez, this aim. Right. Search the guy for the code. Now, there used to be like, you could just like kill yourself and then you just show up at the car park outside. Right. That was a very swift move. Right. Actually, I don't need to do any of that stuff. I can just like run out. Makes it easier. Right. I think I came from this side and I'm probably going to be doing the same thing. Just like run out to the right. And then that's pretty much it. We didn't have to die that one time, but it's okay. Yeah, the police, they're going to be fine. Right. And here we go. So the codes are done. What else do we need? We need a fingerprint cloner and the cutting torch. Right. So the cutting torch is super important if it's one of your first times doing the Cayo Perico, because he saves you from having to go around and looking for bolt cutters. So if you use the explosives, you're always going to alert the guards, so you don't really want to do that. So you always want to just, on your very first time or in one of the times, to make sure that you look for the drainage pipe just to get the cutting torch open. I mean, I know some of these things, like I'd say some people are probably like listening to this or will listen to this in the future because no one's watching. But, and then to be like, you're preaching to the choir. We all know this. But like I said, we were doing the heists and a lot of people didn't know. So not calling these people out nor anything. That's not what I'm doing here. But I'm just showing like this is how it's done and whatnot. So I'm just hopefully someone is just like following the heist at the same time that they're playing, and then they're picking something from this. It's like listening to the radio or something. I don't know. Right. So let's see what's next. Next, we're going to go and take the fingerprint cloner or something. Fingerprint cloner. Right. Not too hard. I mean, also another thing you can do is you can pick up some snacks and weapons and stuff inside the sub. Somewhere at the kitchen, you can just pick free snacks. I really don't care too much. And health and stuff. Once you get to a certain level, you get enough stamina to just be okay for like a few shots. So as long as you keep covering and whatnot, you're going to be okay. My aim is being like a little bit weird. For the last while, I haven't been playing as much for some reason, so I haven't been shooting as much. So it looks very, very twitchy. So there's that. That's gonna be my excuse. I just haven't been playing much lately. So let's see. Going to the warehouse. So we're going to the warehouse. There's gonna be. So here, another thing about the game, man, I hope this is going to get fixed in GTA 6 and whatnot, because this is so annoying. So you always go outside the warehouse and you take out the cameras and whatnot. And if you don't, right, you can just shoot the cameras. But if you don't shoot the cameras, you get detected, right? And inside, let's see. Right. Why is it taking so long? So, but Pavel is still talking. And you need to go through all these things before in wait just until you can hack the laptop. So I'm hoping that this kind of stuff is just fixed, like all these mismatched voiceovers that you kind of need to listen. It's kind of like, yeah, whatever, dude. It's It's not happening. Like, right, whatever. Right. So we talked about this like a few times as well. Like there's always like, it's like the fights before the boss, right? So you disable the cameras here and it's some sort of prep for the finale, because in the finale you're going to be disabling cameras or turning off cameras or getting uniforms or disguises and stuff, which is what we're going to be doing on the next mission. So it's kind of like the mobs before the boss that have the same abilities than the boss. But once you do this like a few times, you kind of really, you skip most of the stuff and you're going to go like, yeah, whatever. Let's just shoot things and then just move on as quickly as possible with the grind. Right. So you can use, right. That's one way to do it. Kinda. Right. To carry the that's one way to take care of the CCTV. Again, I don't think it makes much of a difference because the guys that show up, unless you're low level and you really need to that time or not be detected, it should be grand. But yeah, sure. Take the cameras, go around. I look into all of these monitors just to see if they have anything special. These are the vehicles that you're going to see in the finale in Cayo Perico and stuff. Like, very, very pretty. Right. So you just get like a few extra seconds here. And because there's like no one in the session, doesn't really matter, the global signal. I'm not sure if what were they thinking when they intended this, because it just really doesn't really work to do all this grinding in a public session. Even though I actually tried to do this in a public session and no one gave a shit. Everyone was just doing their own thing and they were like, yeah, whatever. This guy's grinding Cayo Perico. Yeah, whatever. Not even the oppressors. And I'm not sure like if I was relieved or disappointed, because I was thinking like, okay, I wanted to make content. And then I was just like, okay, see, all these oppressors, people in oppressors are coming in to grief me as I'm trying to grind for Cayo. But no, they didn't give a shit. They were just doing their own thing. And they were like, yeah, dude, like whatever. Right. Now this is another one where you can just go in guns blazing and then just shoot everyone and clear the entire construction site, or you can just like pick up a uniform. We'll depending on where we get what we get, we'll see. But for the most part, like I usually just pick up the uniform because I think it makes it easier to just go in and out undetected. I do like that stuff in Cayo though. I do like the undetected thing, and then the way you can just like go in and then just do things undetected. Right, we get the construction site at the very end. Yeah, so there's always going to be like a helmet that you can pick, and you use the helmet. And as long as you don't stay too long in the cones of the guards, you're going to be a-okay with it. Going to be a-okay. You're not going to get detected or anything. So I think there's a little bit of a difference in graphics. I don't know. I installed the new NVIDIA graphics. So yeah, so I used to just like shoot everything here. It depends. So sometimes I just shoot everything because I think it makes it like faster. Other times I actually land the helicopter, come here. For some reason, it gives you that tooltip first, and then you need to go back in again. I still have the tooltips because sometimes there's missions I was like, wow, what am I supposed to do now? And at least the tooltip tells me. So as long as you don't bump into anyone and you're careful, you just need to have like a quick glance looking for the cutting torch. Jump here. There it is. I think I'm going to be in that cone for a little bit too long. I wasn't. Yes, I have it yet. So you pick it up, and this saves you a little bit of time because you don't have to be like fighting guards and then shooting your way through or everything. So it just makes it like a little bit faster. the goal here is not to just get as many headshots as possible. It's really just to grind as fast as possible. So why not? Right. Let's see. Are we doing this? I think we're on 34 minutes, so it's not too bad. Considering that we actually had to go and do the scope as well. So we finish this under the hour, unless we fail something on the finale or something. Right. We have everything. We just need to pick up the vellum, and then we're going to be ready to go. Let's see this here. Excellent. Where's my time? Oh, there it is. Behind a single piece of energy. Yeah, 35 minutes. I think we're doing good time. And we only died once, so it's kind of cool. Right. So we could have used like any other approach vehicles. Star Banana. So Kasaka, we don't going to be doing this because we're going to be doing solo, and then we had to go into one of the sides of the island, and then just to get like the secondary loot. I don't think it's really worth it. Alkanost, we need to do 2 preps for this one. So we need to get the Alkanost, which takes a little bit of time, and then the pilot thing. Vellum is the most straightforward, and we had uniforms at the airstrip, so it's much easier. Annihilator, same thing. We need to do 2 preps for this one. Patrol boat, it's super slow, and I'm not sure if we have to do 2 preps. I think it's just 1, but it's just super slow. And the long fin, it's just... The long fin was my second approach when I had to hit a couple of places in the island and I couldn't find uniforms. So I would take the long fin, go to the hangar, and then use the long fin to go into the drainage pipe. But we found uniforms, so it's just going to make it so much easier. And I don't see like many people using this at all. So we're going to be doing this in a finale. I'm going to show you guys how much easier it is for just when you find uniforms and grappling hook and whatnot. I mean, granted, it's going to be a different entry point for the compound, but you get used to it. It's just like you don't have to do these routes where you need to kill the Juggernaut all the time. I mean, if you want to kill the Juggernaut, it's up to you. But I just think it's much easier to just not kill in and out as fast as possible. Right, let's go into Sandy Shores, get ourselves the airplane or the Vellum and whatnot, and get the hell out of here. Right. I don't know why I'm clicking this. I'm going to need a new controller. Right, so... I think the Vellum and the Longfin are really just the only 2 approaches that you really want to do anymore. Unless, if you're doing solo, of course. If you're doing this with other people, obviously you're going to be looking for gold inside the compound. And if you find about 3 stacks of gold for 2 people, or 4 stacks of gold for, I think 4 stacks of gold, or 5 stacks of gold for 3 people, or is it for... I can't remember now because I don't do the heist with many people. But if you find gold in the compound, then sure, use the Kasaka approach, which is like easy as well. But besides that, I see very used to just like go in because you're just gonna need to eat separate points or a few more points. Right. One of these times, like I think he just destroyed the plane by doing that. Right. Let's see. Collected the Vellum. Just fly back. Good. Get out of there. I didn't know that there was actually a time to do this. When I was doing this challenge with no vehicles, no weapons, no anything, I realized that there was actually a time to complete these missions. And when I did this on a public session, I was flying the Vellum. No one gave a shit. I thought that people were going like, "Oh, this guy is doing Cayo Perico let's, I don't know, harass, let's destroy the Vellum, let's destroy it. But nope, no one cared the slightest. Here, a bit of cinematic for you guys. If you're watching this, right, if you're watching this like on a VOD, like chances are you're just going to skip this part and it's like, yeah, let's just move on. I better do this before I crash the plane and then make the stream longer than it needs to be. Right. So with the Vellum, we're going to be arriving at Cayo Perico. We get the uniforms. We get the loot at the hangar. You're going to go through the island. Let's not forget to pick up the grappling hooks things. And even when we get to the compound, I'm going to show you guys like a way to get the key codes, because we might get the key codes. And if we don't get the key codes, then you use the drainage pipe. So there's plenty of things that you can do before you just need to go with like that same route, which is that the drainage pipe and whatnot. And that's just what I'm showing in this VOD video or whatever. Right. We should be able to pay for this and say like, would you like to have the Vellum delivered for 20 grand? People would say, yeah. This makes the game. You do this like a few times, but then the 237 time that you do it, man. I'm sure people did it like way more times than that though. I know I have. Right. I think we should be ready to go. Let's try not to fail this. Let's try not to botch this on stream and record it. If the VOD disappears, it's because I did it. I did horribly. Right. Go online, find a session, and we should be ready to go. Right. That's it. If the VOD disappears, it was me failing miserably, doing something really stupid. Right. Let's hope not. So, let's move into the finale. We close it. We're just going to do this solo. Approach vehicles Vellum. We're going to go into the airstrip, drainage tunnel. We're going to pick the exit. Doesn't really matter what you pick. Time of the day. I usually pick night because it's cool. Make sure that you have like suppressors picked up. Weapon stash, and you confirm that because you're arriving with a Vellum. And you want that's kind of going to be a cool screenshot for the what's it called? The thumbnail. What was I saying? I forgot where I was going. Nights and stuff. I can't remember what I was saying. Anyways, let's focus on this. Let's do the finale, and let's hope we don't botch it. Get over there. It'll bring it soon. Right. So, to make sure we don't forget, always pick up the weapons first. If you don't pay for the weapons, for the stash, by the moment you arrive, you are detected, and then you're instantly fighting El Rubio's guards. Because we're going to pick another stash of cocaine. You don't know, but like I always start with the most valuable one. Make sure that I get like almost the most valuable one, and then I pick whichever second. Like it doesn't make much of a difference in this case, right? Because you're never gonna fill the bag with this one. But yeah, at least you do it like this, right? After this. This is how you get to the top floor there, just in case you never did it. You pick it up. You need to kind of be careful with this. You lift it up. and you push it against here. You make sure that you don't close that door just in case this is the first thing that you're picking up. I happened to be before closing myself closing myself, locking myself in, whichever. So you pick up this and you're gonna pick up the rest of the loot just a little bit. Rockstar making you work a little bit harder for this. Now, if you look into the video that I put up about the Cayo Perico loot, if I had picked up like weed, and cash, by the time you get to the safe, you're going to get the exact same money. Is not going to make any difference. Right, there's no vehicles there. Is there a bike there? I think we need to go to the back as well. Right, so once you pick up the uniforms, this is going to make it so much easier to just go around the compound, because now no one gives two shits about you going around, right? Those two guys there, they didn't give a shit in the first place. This guy here is not going to give a shit as well. So as long as you don't stay too long in their cones of vision, you're grand, you're golden. So I'll pick up the bike, and we're gonna go to the first spot here to get the grappling hook. Remember that there was like a couple of spots here to pick up the grappling hook. So we're gonna pick up this one, the grappling equipment. Yeah. So we could drive through the main gate as well if we find a truck, but we're not gonna worry too much about it. Since we have the grappling hook, we have the bike. Just gonna cut through here. I need to time this at some stage just to see if it's really faster to go with a bike or we go with the little boat to the drainage pipe. But I think this is just so much faster to just traverse the island like this, especially because it's just going to give you like the other two entry points. So, but I think it's faster. I think it's fast. I need to time it at some stage. Right, so we pick up that grappling hook there. So there's going to be like an extra entrance here. Actually, if you pick up the truck, now that I'm thinking, the truck, it's going to make a slog just to go through the entire island. But it makes it kind of fun. It makes it kind of interesting. And it just makes it like a little bit different way. I think that there should be like different rewards for doing the heist different ways. Right, checkpoint. No one cares because you have like the uniform, and now you have like this one here. You can also get this guy here, right? He doesn't have codes. And you can just pick up this guy here, and we're just gonna do this like just because we can, right? So see, that guy has the codes there. You can pick up the codes. That guy not gonna care, but because we have like the grappling hook, we're just gonna use the grappling hook. So this will save you from going around. I think by this time you would still be going around in the boat, and you haven't got into the drainage pipe just yet. The time is going to be more or less the same, I know, but it just saves you all that stuff. I think. Right, once you get into this, some people might be familiar with this side of the compound, others don't, but you can just come this way here and then run here very quickly. That guy is not going to detect you, and it's the same as you coming in through that front gate with a truck, right? And some people come to this bit here anyways. Just that guy is moving now, so you can just like go this way. Now, I like to take this guy here, because he might have keys. In this case, he didn't have keys. The Juggernaut is not going to take him, not going to pick him up. This guy here, sometimes people hide from this guy as well. We're not going to hide. This guy didn't have keys as well, so it just made it so much harder. So because we couldn't find any keys, these are the only two guys that I usually take, because the other ones sometimes get detected. So fine, we'll have to hack from here. If we got the keys, we would just go downstairs and we use like the entrance, the gate entrance. I'm not sure if this is making sense. We've done this a million times, but just in case you haven't, first key, first slot, second key, second slot, third key, third slot, fourth key, fourth slot, and so on and so forth. This one and this one. So you can just cycle 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth, right? So it's easy enough. So if you get the keys, you don't have to do all this hacking because the gate, the entrance just has like one fingerprint thing. Now, I think... is he going to give me the codes? So, yeah, I think I removed some of the notifications. So you can always go to the text. Pavel texts you the code 952195. So Pavel gives you the codes there. So you can just go 95. I think some people do this by ear. They say like they can hear the clicks, but you don't have to do that. Pavel sends you a text and then that's it. And just before we got the save and we can start making our way out. Now, Joggy's coming. Make sure that that guy here, you can see the map, is going to turn now and then he's going to look to right to the place where we're going to want to jump to. And once he turns back, you can just jump down. Ooh, let's see if I can get this fast. We run this way. We can wait for that guy to come in and then leave. Sometimes there's the guy that's there to our right. He spots him being Deaderino, and you don't need to take any more guards, and you just like wait for him to move. Sometimes I try to do this with a minimal fuss as possible, because it's just, if you don't have to take the guards down, then I don't, you know. I think it's just like it makes it for like less opportunities to fail. So even if you're doing this with other people and you just join a random Cayo Perico or something, you can still use this route because I think for me it's one of the fastest routes to get to the safe. And if anyone uses a different route, it's grand because your route will complete stuff. And if they use the exact same route as yourself and they're the heist leaders, let them make the call onto which way to go and which way not to go. So a few people been like raging about the rebreathers as well. You don't really care much about them as long as you swim fast enough towards like that deep sea there. You don't need to equip the rebreathers, and you might just equip them at the very end. Granted, maybe your character needs to be swimming for a while to have like the maximum lung capacity or whatever. But I think it's okay. I don't usually equip the rebreather, so by the time I get here, sometimes he says like equip a rebreather, but it does. I don't think you really need it. And then from this point on, I think it's just like you're just waiting for the game to trigger. And that's pretty much it. So let's see. 53 minutes for the entire, since we started the stream. So this makes it for let's skip the cutscene. We don't care about this. So 53 minutes since the start of the stream. So I think it puts the entire thing at 50 minutes or something. Maybe there was just like a couple of minutes at the start. So just under 50 minutes to do Cayo. I don't think it's too bad. See, the payment is always going to be the same. Complete under 10 minutes. I think it's a great time. We got the uniforms in and whatnot. And that's pretty much it. Now, been trying to grind some hours. And I knew this was going to be very impromptu stream, so no one's going to show up for this anyways. But I also wanted to just put up like another Cayo Perico video where I'm just explaining things around, and I was going to play it anyway. So I was kind of like, well, might as well just like put up a stream. Maybe someone would show up. Maybe someone would just watch this. and I can top up a little bit my hours. I still need over 1,000 to get to 3,000, so a little bit. So thanks very much for coming. I hope you enjoyed the stream or the VOD. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for riding shotgun. Bish signing out.